Welcome back to coverage from Kyalami and the final round of the Motul Historic Tour, combined with the South African Endurance Championship. And as you can see now, Pirelli Sports and GT category on track for their first sprint race of the day. Have a look at that array of vehicles. Shelby Can-Ams, Lamborghini, GT3, Hurricanes. You've got Lotus, you've got a Mercedes-Benz, you've got a Porsche, you've got that magnificent Aston Martin Vantage. And of course, joining us for the first time today in the Ginetta will be Simon Murray on the front row alongside Charles Oranges. And Oranges now to dictate the pace with the lights ablaze. Heading down into the final turn. A rolling start here. Keep an eye on that little Lotus from behind as well. Very quick last weekend at Swartkops. We'll wait to see if he's able to do anything about the front end of this race and get there as soon as he can. Jonathan Schenkman in the OCC Lamborghini as they drop the hammer and down across the line for the first time, heading down towards Crowthorne Corner. Watch out for the Aquila coming from the back as well. Francis Carruthers in that Carilla, going to be in that Aquila, starting to make his way through the field rapidly. That's the gold and black sports car. Already attacked from Schechter as he goes on the inside of Simon Murray. Onto the back end of the Aston Martin Vantage of Oranges. The Lotus already up to fourth place ahead of Schenkman. And then you can see a good start there from the Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche. And already attacking some of the Shelby Can-Ams and sports cars in that mid-pack. One car, unfortunately, not making it out at all with some issues right at the start was Campos. So Keegan Campos, unfortunately, just not able to get the car onto the track and had to be pulled to the sideline before they even started the warm-up lap. And he was expecting to fight exactly where these two are for second, third, and fourth place, possibly even for the lead. If you could find just that little bit of an edge over Charles Oranges. Oranges trying to find the edge right from the word go. Remember, this is a 10-lap race, so you got the first lap in anger here, and Schechter already under attack there from Simon Murray in the Ginetta. So Murray and Schechter fighting for second and third. Schechter hard on the brakes, forces the Ginetta ever so slightly wide. The Dreiser Environmental Lamborghini had a fantastic outing last weekend at Swartkops to finish up the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. And you can see just running that wing completely the wrong way around, and it seems to be working well for that car. Probably a little bit lacking in the downforce, but in terms of straight line speed for that Lambo, it's definitely working out. And of course, Greg Parton, and very close there between the Ginetta and Schechter. Simon Murray just forced Schechter ever so slightly wide into Crocodiles and through into second place. He realizes that Aston Martin Vantage out front in that kind of position might be able to get away from them, so he wants to maybe just make up that ground early on. Here's Schenkman fighting hard here for about 6th and 7th place there. The 4 car goes through. Super start there from Mike Schmidt. On his tail, as I said, is the Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche. And a nice start to the day's racing there for that car as they head into the second lap in anger. Mechanicos coming through in the Mercedes-Benz, starting to eat up some of the sports cars and gets through on a couple of them as they head down into Crowthorne Corner. It might be Duncan Foss that he came up alongside there, if I'm not mistaken. And Charles Jabert, of course, Mike Verrier out there too, Colin Plitt. Keep an eye out on Steve Humble, James Forbes also fighting in his little machine as they come up onto the back straight now for the first time. Schenkman leading out at this stage. He hangs on for now, but it's not too difficult for Schenkman to have to fight out there. You can see not going to be an easy day in the saddle there for him. You can see James Forbes coming through there in the 12 car. And fighting on the back end there. It looks like it might be Charles Jabert. No, bigger pardon. That'll be probably Alistair Brown there in the 4 car. Further back in this field, also keep an eye out on these guys. They're going to be fighting for GT honours, of course, and GT3 honours. Alistair Brown doing a super job. And there you can see also fighting hard Ferraris and Porsches in the mix. The 72 car hanging on for now. That, of course, is Martin Prince. Martin Prince looking for a way through. Mazda looks like it might have gone missing by the sounds of things. That's Nick Cunningham Morak behind them in the GTR. There's the Mazda parked on the sideline. That's a bit of a pity there for him. Such a pity to lose that car so early on. Mazda, I think, is... I'm just trying to pick up. It might be Willie Lochman. Or... I'm not quite sure he's actually in that car. On the grid, I don't have that car on my grid that was given to me, so... Changes up here. There's a big move on the inside. Oh, Ali Brown in the NAC helicopters machine going through there. The Shelby Can-Am giving the Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche a good run for its money. Tuka comes alongside there and just blasts past the Shelby. Tries to find a way through and actually looking for a chance to go through on the Porsche as well, down towards turn 1. There you can see Tuka. Oh, good move there. So we've got Big maneuvers happening at the front end. Tuka Mechanical starting to make that Mercedes-Benz very much a front runner. And slowly but surely now closing in on Schenkman. Colbert fighting with the first of the Shelbys, and that is, of course, in the hands of the NAC helicopter owner. That is Alistair Brown. AMG versus Lamborghini now. And the Bull just trying to keep him at bay. Schenkman goes on the defensive, holds that inside line. Doesn't give any opportunity. Will cost him slightly on the drive as he exits Clubhouse corner. Tuka getting good drive and bits and pieces starting to, I think he might have just picked up a little bit of rubble on the sideline there and shot it across the circuit. But he's definitely looking pretty much like he is on the attack. Lamborghini chauffeur hanging on for now as it gets onto the top. Late braking from Schenkman keeps Tuka out. Late braking from Alistair Brown nearly gets him through there on the Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche. Front end battle starting to heat up as well. Look at this. Oh, this is great to see. The Ginetta all over the back of that Aston Martin. Now, this is kind of what we'd expect to see when you're sort of heading into the Le Mans type series or world endurance cars. A 1:44.422. That is a brand new lap record. He did a 1:44.6 here a couple of weekends ago at the Kyalami Motorsport Festival. We have an official, well, it's up on the board right now. It's not official, of course, until they verify all the results afterwards. But unofficially now, a brand new lap record here for Kyalami. And he's gone 0.2 of a second quicker than what he did at the Extreme Supercar race here a couple of weekends ago for Motorsport Festival at Kyalami. The Ginetta also going really well. Have to see what his lap times are. I can hopefully get Graham to give me an indication as to what the lap times on that Ginetta are. They can't be too far off if he's running that close to the back end of the Aston Martin. Coming through on some back markers now. This could be where the Ginetta could pounce. Oh my goodness. Something in my ear has just been, I've just been told that the Ginetta has actually gone quicker. A 1:43.212. So a new lap record from that absolutely amazing Ginetta of Simon Murray. And he now currently holds the outright lap record here for Kyalami. Well, unofficially, of course. Remember, they've all got to sort things out once all the adjudication and bits and pieces are sorted out after the race. But there is a 1:43.212 coming out of the Ginetta there as it closes down on Arunji's Aston Martin Vantage. That's an incredible lap time around here. It's almost getting down to the original lap times that were done here at the original Kyalami before this one. And that was a couple of 100 meters shorter than this current track. So good to see these guys putting in efforts like they are. And look at the effort being put in here by Simon Murray. He's now in the slip. And he used that slipstream of the Aston Martin and maybe squeeze him out down into Crowthorne. And he has a look, probably just have a squiz, maybe pull out and let Arunji's know. And there you can see, looking at our official lap time from Pro Timing. Yeah, there it is, confirmation. 1:43.212. 1:44.422 are the top two cars, but first and second, it's still Arunji's in the slightly slower Aston Martin Vantage. I love saying a slightly slower Aston Martin Vantage. It goes so nicely over the tongue. But that Ginetta seems to have just a little bit more. I think Simon Murray's clever. He'll just sit behind Arunji's until the end. Don't show his cards too soon or wait for an opportunity like that where backmarkers might come into play. And not able to make it thick this time out, but he's definitely got that little edge. So it's Aston Martin versus Ginetta for 1 and 2 on track. And Arunji's right now had the outright lap. He'll still have it until they've sorted all the, of course, after race antics. But I don't see anything in terms of stuff to be sorted out in terms of that lap time. A 1:43.212. Wow. And we all thought that the 45s were pretty quick when we saw Toby get into the 45s. 2.5 seconds quicker almost. Nice battle here between the Lambo and that Lotus of Charles Joubert. Charles Joubert is starting to become a bit of a threat here and close in on the back end of Jackie Schechter. Kind of saw this battle last weekend as well, so it's not too far off what we saw at Swartkorps last weekend. Of course, Swartkorps last weekend was a little bit more hair-raising in the wet. But great to see that the rains have stayed away for now. And I don't think we're going to be seeing much rain. We're going to be overcast for the entire day, but hopefully no rain in any of the races here today. More back markers coming into play. And it's literally going to be the rest of the race that they're going to find back markers at almost every single turn. 45.3. Similar lap time again by the looks of things. Just have a squiz and see. No, they've dropped down out of it. They're into the 45s and 46s now. But there's traffic, and also I think the fight is slowing them down slightly. So maybe not concentrating too much on getting the lap times in. They would have done that over the first couple of laps with good tyres on those cars. Because I think both of them, if I'm not mistaken, Gary will confirm. I know that the Aston Martin is running Pirellis, the Ginetta, Michelin. Okay, he's on Michelin, so a bit of a tyre battle out there as well. Nice to see this car here, though. Man, well done to Simon Murray and his entire team for bringing that piece of machinery out here to give these guys a run for their money. He's on Pirellis. Well, I hope he's on Pirellis. He should be, because if he's running on similar lap times and he's on different rubber, that's going to be interesting to see. Confirmation, though. Little bit hot up into Leeuwkop there, but how's that? Just climbs on the middle pedal and slows that car up very quickly. It's quite impressive, actually, the way it stopped there. Could have gone completely wrong. Down into Crocodiles they go. Ginetta pulls wide. Watch for the different line. Can he try around the outside? And he's trying different things to try and find a chink in the armor there. But Orangi's, he set an incredible lap time here a couple of weekends ago, so he'll definitely know where to put that car to avoid being overtaken. And maybe try and use some of the back markers to his advantage now. It's like Andre van der Merwe, they're coming up on there in the Ferrari. Across the line, another lap done. We're into the second half of this race now. In fact, that's Kish Patamba, I beg your pardon. That was Van der Merwe's old car, the Motor 360 Challenge car, and Kish Patamba out there in that one, the 17 red Ferrari. The back markers are certainly coming into play here, and Ginetta is trying to use them to his advantage. We've got a car on the outside of turn 4 there. Not sure who's ended up in the wall, but there's definitely a car that's gone wide and ended up in the wall just on the left of that shot as we came through there. There it is, 45. 45 is the car that's off. And running through my grid, I'm just trying to pick up who 45 might be. I don't have a 45 on my list. No, I don't have a 45 on mine at all, sorry. Is it Mike Berrier? Okay, Mike Berrier, unfortunately out of that one. He's one of our Shelby Can-Am drivers. Up on the back end of Leeuwkop, and Ginetta has another look, this time on the right side of the circuit as opposed to trying to drive around the outside. But Charles is just managing this race almost to perfection here. He's got to keep it together for about 3.5 more laps, and then it will be to perfection. But I think Simon Murray might be playing with him here. Murray, I think, might have that little edge. Let's see if he can just find the right line to get out of this section and onto that main straight. If he gets onto the main straight and there's no traffic, I think he'll probably have a go. But there is a yellow and white Porsche that they're coming up on and looking for a chance to get in there. There we go. Into the final turn, tries to get the drive. Porsche's in the way, so that's going to compromise him ever so slightly. He now tries to use the Porsche to his advantage. Gets a little bit of slip out of the Porsche. It's a big car to get behind, and it will give him a slight bit of slipstream effect, but unfortunately he's lost some ground there to the Aston. And Aston Martin now just hangs on. Orangi's just controlling this race from the front. Further back, you can see continuing that little battle. Alistair Brown, Colbert, Schenkman, and James Forbes. Forbes now has closed in. It's not too far off the back end of that Bigfoot Express Rate Porsche. There is the Mercedes-Benz. Tuka just up the road from that battle. There comes the battle we've just been chatting about. Mechanicos having a good run all on his own some now and hanging on for what is now 5th place on the road. Let's look at that. You've got 8, 6, 7, 8 and 9th place. Very evenly matched. Schenkman there in the 6th spot on his tail, pushing hard. See, there's a little battle between the other 3 cars. Sure, traffic is becoming a major factor now. Check this out. Every time they come under braking, every time they try and get accelerating and try and find a way to get through on each other. It's the ability of Charles Orangi. He has a very incredible ability to get through traffic rapidly. And it's on occasion it's worked well for him, particularly in these kind of sprint races, and also even in the endurance races that run for longer periods of time, which we're probably going to see him in later on today. He has a very good ability to get through traffic, and that's one of the reasons he's become one of the top endurance drivers in this country. Simon Murray getting used to this car, still getting some track time here at Kyalami. He did do a couple of sessions overseas before they brought this car out, and now looking to keep this car here in SA and make it another part of this incredible stable that makes up South African Endurance Championship. The Jeanetta's in the slip. He's going to have a run here, I think, but look at that. As he comes out of the kink there, down towards Crowthorne, it just seems to be that Charles can just push that right-hand pedal a bit more and get a bit more grunt out of that V8 Vantage. Pardon for that, apologies for that, it's the other way around. It's a V12 Vantage and a V8 Jeanetta. I knew there was V's involved there, just couldn't remember what number was behind each of them. I drove a Aston Martin V8 Vantage, so that's why I was going with a V8. But it's a V8, it's a V12 in that front end car. So battle there between V12 and V8. There's Kish Patamba starting to close in some of the sports cars and Porsches. Continuing that little battle with the 72 machine of Martin Prince. That back straight, there you go, heading into the top end of the circuit. Great to see these guys pushing hard, as that feels real good, so don't stop. In the background, nice one there. The Pro Timing guys giving us some little neck massage there as he comes and tries to do some work as well. We haven't done much work today at Pro Timing, quite nice. Yeah, exactly, he's doing the best job in the house. All right, so as they come up into the closing stages of this race, the leaders have probably got about a lap and one corner to go. That's good timing there from our director. Oh, there you go, dives on the inside. Oh, the Jeanetta runs wide. Has he got out of shape? Oh, no, he hasn't. Fortunately, just able to keep it on track. But Simon Murray had a big dive on the inside there of the Aston, and he couldn't quite get that one sorted out. But whoa, that was very close. Very, very close there between the two of them as they came through the final turn. Now, I wonder if that's shaken Murray. And is he going to hold back and just say, you know what, I had a go, it didn't work, let's finish up? Highly unlikely. Simon Murray will probably come fighting back. But Charles Arunges has now got about 6 or 7 car lengths over him, and that might just be enough for Arunges to manage this race to the end. Now coming up on this little battle, which is the Aquila, and looks like Gary Kiswetter as well involved in there, and I think Fritz Kleinons is the battle that they're coming up on. Further back, this is just backmarkers that have just been overtaken by the two leaders. If I'm not mistaken, that little 15 car, I'm just going to run through who that is, that's Louis de Jager. I think that's a Sauber race car that we actually got left behind here, and one of the guys picked up on. One of the Sauber cars that was here at last year's Passion for Speed Festival. Traffic here for the Aston. Fortunately, the light's on, so I think these guys will realize that he's coming through and just allow him enough room to play as he goes through there. See just how hard he's having to work, and not going to be an easy day in the saddle. Colin Plitt is the car that they've just gone through there as well. There is the Aquila. Another also spectacular looking race car. Francis Carruthers and Johan Engelbrecht piloting that car. We're on the last lap and heading down into the last couple of turns here for our two leaders. And I don't think the Jeanetta's close enough. In fact, I think the Aquila might get in the way there for Simon Murray. Yeah, it has. Murray not able to get through on the Aquila, and now comes down. He'll just have to settle for second place. This is where he tried the maneuver last time. It didn't quite work out. Checkered flag is on standby, and it is going to be Charles Arunges, who's literally gone flag to flag. Great drive from Arunges. Takes the win there ahead of Simon Murray. And Simon Murray only 0.9 off at the end. Third place should be the 19 car, and a great drive there from Jackie Schechter. Schechter able to keep a 10-second advantage over anybody else. Here comes the Lambo now. There he is in shot. As he comes across the line, there'll be Schechter to come through there for a great drive up into third overall, ahead of Tuka Mechanicos. We'll be hanging on for a potential fourth place, and that's a great drive as well from the Mercedes-Benz AMG of Tuka Mechanicos. You can see different pit lanes for the different cars, so some of them diving into the top pit lane area. Some of them will make their way all the way around the circuit, including this Jeanetta who came through for second place. But a good debut there, nonetheless, for Simon Murray in the Jeanetta. Up next, we're going to go back into our historic cars, and it's pre-66 saloons, pre-66 sports and GTs, the pre-90s sports and GTs, and the Alfa Trofeo all combined. They'll be out on track very shortly. Until then, I'll leave you just with some great shots coming from the final round here of the Motul Historic Tour.